So here we go. Sorry for messing up with the buttons. This is the first time that I have to speak English on a coaching, so I might be a little nervous, but I hope you understand. We had some technical problems between the computer and the mouse, but we are now online and I suppose everything is working. So those of you who haven't been in these nights before on the Finnish side, we are going to play, or I am going to play PLO50 for the most time unless we have a major run bad or a major run good. We are going to play PLO50 on 4 to 6 tables. 4 tables are going to be shown here on the screen. And basically the stream has over 1 minute delay, around 1 to 2 minutes delay for security reasons. So when you are commenting about a hand, there's 4 tables. Up left is 1 and bottom right is 4, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Please note what table you are talking about and put on the hero's hand on the question so I can find the hand on replayer. Because when you type a question to the chat, it's around 2 minutes later on my screen. So I can't remember all the hands. So if you just ask, why did you fold tables 2, I have no idea what hand you are talking about. So I'm going to try to find some good tables on PLO50. There's a lot of tables open. I can show you that lobby. So the thing that I'm looking for at tables is basically this players on flop number, because it means, like here in 53, it means that on average half of the players see the flop. So usually the VPIP is pretty high. So I just put them on the order and put myself on the waiting list. I also have color coding for players, and the green is the color that I want to see. Every time I meet a player that I want to play against, I mark him as a green. So when there's a lot of green on the table, that's where I want to see it. But now there's the usual reds on the tables. So we just go there. Even if it's Thursday, it's a holiday here in Finland, but it's not holiday for the rest of the world. So there's not that much recreational players that there might be on an average Friday or Saturday. But of course we are crossing the tables, so it doesn't matter who we are against. Well, I'm waiting for almost all the tables now. And there's a lot of talking on the chat. If you want to join these coachings and interact with the other members and coaches here on the chat, you have to register to pokerimania.com. So there isn't a lot of English speaking members on our community, but hopefully we will get more as we increase the content done in English. So if you have a friends that might want to have a nice poker community, best forum ever and totally free coaching, you can advertise us to them and tell them to join. Now we can get to one table. It's full of reds, but we have to start somewhere. It's usually when I see that the table is turning to a bad one, I'm going to change the table quite often, because if I'm in a table and there's 5 regulars with me, the value for the table is pretty low. So I much rather find a table where there's at least one fishy player that I can get a lot of value. And we can open this table and see what happens. Yeah, I have an Angela on my background picture. And it's just move these. Here on the bottom right corner is my HUD. If you don't understand my coding, what these stats mean, just ask me and I'm happy to explain. Oh, we have 10 to 15 members, wow. They are pretty quiet members. I don't know if it's a holiday Thursday, but there's a lot of talking going on the chat, so if I miss a question, just retype it and we can get it. On table 1, we have a definitely playable hand unless something funny happens. It's type of 4-card hand, 3-card hand. We have ace queen jack suited and the 4 is sort of useless card. It plays somehow with the ace, but it's a 3-card hand, but it's very nutty. Our straights and our flushes are going to be to the nuts, so when the button folds, even if this nit opens, we are going to call, and now we don't have any read on this guy, but since he limped, he can't be that good. So I suppose I have an edge on him, so I'm going to bet, and on this flop I'm definitely making c-bet just to get more money if I hit my flush, and on the paired turns I think I have a lot of folding equity. And if he's calling me with some sort of queens with the spade draw, I still have few outs to a better hand, even if I don't hit my flush. But when he raises, he definitely have 10. He might have set or 2 pairs on the flop, and he definitely has full house here. So it's an easy fold. Yeah, Florida Keys is a regular. Let's see if he's... Yeah, he's playing quite many PLO50 tables. 16. So he's multi-tabling a lot. Scene Things is a green player, so he's sort of fishy. He has regular stats, but the reason he has green is he calls too lightly. So when a regular player who has these solid preflop stats has a green, it usually means that he's overcalling with pocket pairs. Like here, he might call with pocket kings for a showdown, calling 3 streets. And when he raises this dry board, he might do it with the bluff. But as I don't really have anything on this flop, I have to fold. If I had a sort of stronger hand, I might do something else, because his raise on the flop c-bet is 33. So he's raising a lot of flops. And it's not the greatest table, because even the green player has VPIP 22, so he's not a huge fish. And the short stacker on my left, I might change this table 1, because against these 2 players I really don't get a lot of value. Alex is a neat VPIP 19, it's hard to get value from him unless it's a setup. And as this guy calls, he has 29% folds to c-bet. I expect him to call here or raise me quite often. And he calls. King is a bad card because he has pocket kings in his range, definitely, but see also now he can afford his pocket queens, so I actually check and give him an opportunity to bluff me on the river. Because his river accuracy is 53, and if he raises me on the turn, it's going to be a nasty spot, and he bets and I call, and he has straight. So he was basically sort of combo floating me on the flop. He had a cut shot and some overcards. The resolution is correct. I'm not sure. Yeah, the resolution is 1920 and 1180. It's the normal resolution. It's just we are using the variable bitrate on our streaming, so that might affect it, because my internet connection is not the fastest one in Finland. What did this guy call me on the flop? He opened pre-flop, and on the flop he check called with pocket tens, which is even a bad bluff catcher. Because the thing is that when he calls the flop, he can't really continue on the turn. I'll make a note of that. So if the stream quality is pretty bad, just let me know so we can see if we need to restart and change some settings. Dorian Gray 3-bets me. I don't have any reads on him, and I have a pocket pair, which means that I don't hit the flop so often, and he's a short stack, so my implied odds is really bad. So I'm going to fold because I have a pocket pair. Now Korpisoturi just does the thing that I advised not to do. Please let me know what table it happened and what was my hand, because I have no idea what hand you are talking about. On table 2 I'm going to open, because if I limp with high pocket pair and I hit the set, it sucks if it's a limp board, so even a small raise gives me a lot better value. The frame rate is, I don't know if I can see it, it's 15, so I have all the same settings that I had on the Finnish side. Sure. The problem is on table 3 is that he calls flop and he calls turn. I'm going to actually bet fold this turn. I don't think he's ever raising without a full house there. And he min raises me, which is quite funny. I need to be right around 1 out of 7, 1 out of 8 times, so I'm going to call this. Although I think he has a lot of full house, but why isn't he shoving if he has a full house? And he have actually super nuts on the flop and redraw on the turn and pretty much the nuts on the river, and he didn't. He should have shoved the turn, but he really slow played his hand. I don't like to the full house hand. The thing is that if I raise, where is it? If I raise the river, it's so obvious that I have a full house. Well, 5-6 might call me, but the thing is that he has 4-3 in his range. He has kings in his range. He has a lot of hands in his range that actually beat me. And if I make a small raise, well, I'm not sure if he can bluff me, but if I had a stronger full house, like 4 deuce or 4-3, then I would make a raise. On table 1, I'm check folding the river because they both call the turn. Either one of them has the straight or a flush there. And they both have a flush. Pretty passive players. I don't know how to make the quality better. Here on table 1, I'm just going to fold my kings because they are pretty bad kings and he's a sort of tight player. Haven't played a hand in 4 hands. It's hard to get value unless I hit the set, and I won't hit the set often enough. So here on table 4, I can raise to 12. So if I get 1 caller, the pot is 25. It's going to be close to SPR 1 or 1.5. And this flop kind of sucks because he's 3-bet range. If it's not the aces, it hits this board very, very, very hard. I don't even have the diamond flush draw. If I had a flush draw, it's an easy stack off, but now I think I just have to check fold. And if he didn't have a better hand on the flop, he definitely have now, and it's such a drawy board that it's really hard to make him fold. So even with aces, when the flop is super bad, there's not much you can do. I could stack off on the flop, but I think this jack queen just hit his range very, very hard. So I'm back here. I just asked my friend if he's using some software that takes away some of our upload speed, but he's not. So current bitrate is around 400, sometimes 500, sometimes close to 600. So it's around 500 constantly. On table 2 I get 3-bet. Here I can see what he 3-bets out of position. He has these high rundowns, high pocket pairs. The problem is that I have only jack, so it's really hard with this hand to play against that range. So I have to fold. And it's not a bad thing, because even if I had pocket jacks, the main thing I try to do with the hand is just to steal the blinds. And sometimes if they just call, I can hit something, but when they 3-bet and I have that trashy hand, it's an easy fold. And here Florida Keys 3-bets me, and he 3-bet out of position is a lot of aces, a lot of ace-king hands, a lot of king-queen 9-6. But I'm going to call, because I have a double-suited hand. And I think I can make him fold on some flops. Like in here, if he has an overpair, I think he's calling the flop often. Or he's just raising me. But I don't think he's going to call 3 streets with aces. I'm folding. When he asks why am I folding so many small blinds, now when Florida Keys just check folds that flop, it's bad play in my mind, because when the board pairs, it's a super nice spot to make a c-bet. So when he asks why I fold so many small blinds, it's just in the small blind I'm going to be out of position, and if it's a multi-way pot, playing marginal hands out of position in a multi-way pot is a way to lose a lot of money. So yes, the price pre-flop is lower, but the problem is that with marginal hand, I'm going to have a marginal hits on the flop. And in a multi-way pot, I want to have as many nuts as possible. Here on table 1, I'm going to call this because this guy might bluff often with some kind of draw, and I have a cut shot and a high flush draw. And he gives me a great price. I'm going to call and see what happens. Of course, when the Queen of Hearts comes, I think we are beaten very, very often. And on table 1, if I had more information on my opponent, I might make a move, but now I don't have any information. He's VPIP 60 guy. I'm not going to go crazy on these small pots. Yeah, we can change it to the constant bit rate in a few seconds. On table 3, I opt in to just call instead of 3-betting. Because he opened min raise, it's hard to get enough stack in that it's easier to play flop. The SPR is going to be around 3 or 3.5. And on table 2, there's Brazilian 36-29 guy. Pre-flop stats are somewhat regularis, so I'm going to make a stab on here, because he's going to bluff a lot of turns. So he calls, so I'm going to fire the river again and hope. Wow. I'm not going to fire the river. He bets full pot on the river, which is really, 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 really strange. I honestly believe that this is often going to be some kind of blocker bet with the tens or kings. But I'm not going to. If I had like 2 pairs, I might even call here. Because It's such a strange way to play nuts. Why would he do that? But I'm not going crazy. He might have the nuts and he tries to be tricky and wait for a safe river card. And the thing is that if I have a hand that I'm going to bluff catch, I'm often going to call the turn bet anyway. So he gets a lot more value by raising the turn. Session hasn't started in the best way. I think we have won only 1 or 2 pots. Sora makes a c-bet. He c-bets only under half of time. And I don't have a lot that I can improve my hand. Because if the jack comes giving me top 2 pair, he might have a straight. So I'm just going to fold on this flop because this opponent is such a straightforward. Dirtland makes a small raise. These min raises are such. I have, if we discount all the spades, I have like 10 out, so I definitely can call this. It's just, should I, if I ever have a best hand in my mind, I might raise. Now I have the nuts on the river, so it's an easy call. And he had a straight on that turn. So we hit one of our outs, which is nice. On table 2 we have 2 pairs, but when the flop goes check, 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 I think we have often the best hand, because this V111 guy made such a small bet, he doesn't have a strong hand. Of course he might have ace 10, but he often have ace 4 or some kind of draws. And the only hand that we can value now is some kind of ace 4, and the value would be so small, and he definitely has 2-3 in his range, ace 10, 6-7, all type of hands, so I'm checking back this river. And he had only a flush draw and a cut shot. On table 3, Sora 59 folds under 40% of the time, so when I have nothing, I'm not going to bluff him that often. TU guy folds 33% so far on the big blinds, so again I'm not going to try to steal his blinds. So we can have a short break in here. So we can change the settings. I'll grab something to drink. This is a nasty spot on table 1. The opponent donks me, and he's 75-90. I have no idea what kind of player he is, but if he's a regular, he might dunk here because he knows this doesn't hit my hands often. I have bottom 2 pairs, but I'll give him a respect. On table 2 it's a 5-handed, so I open the hand, and on table 3 I have an open-ender. On the turn I also have pocket 8s, which might be the best hand. So I'm semi-bluffing this turn. He calls me, and I don't think he's going to bluff me that often when the river pairs also. So if he bets, he probably has at least a flush. And he bets 150. Man, he's teasing me. And here on table 4, the 8 completes some of the straights, but he has $4. He might have an overpair, so I'm value betting. And when he doesn't insta-call, he doesn't have a straight. I'm not making a hero call on table 3. I was tempted to because it's just such a small bet. And these fishy players often bluff with a really small bet sizing. When he doesn't understand PLO, PLO is an easy game. We have this saying on Finland that PLO is an easy game because no matter what you do, you always have at least 30% equity. So it's just get it in and see if your 30% is good enough. Just smash the buttons. That's how most of the players at micros play anyway. So you don't give up edge that much. Here on table 4, it's a nice spot because Sora doesn't fold often and he donks me. I'm not raising him to make him fold his hand because, let's see, I'm just calling and make him barrel. When he donks, he probably has queen or an overpair. And the problem is that if he has a queen, it might be a better queen than mine. So I'm just going to see if I spike the nuts on the river or turn. Now the king comes. If he bets, it's going to be a nasty spot. But the thing is that if he had an overpair, half of the overpairs now have a full house, but I don't think I can fold to his bet size, and he might have something else. And he has a queen jack, which beats me. I had a queen 9, queen 10. So, kind of sucks. But if I raise him on the flop, the money would go in and I would have lost my whole stack. So now I lost only 20 babies. And if I hit the full house on the turn or river, I don't think he's ever folding. So I can get the stack in and he's going to call. So soon after, actually one hand, actually after this hand, because there's 2 sit-outs, we're having a short break. I'm going to restart the stream with different settings, and with the delay it means that we will have around 2 or 3 minutes break. So you can go to the bathroom or get some beer or whatever you want to do on the breaks. So I'm going to close the stream now because there's not going to be a hand on the table. So see you soon.